Hey Story Seekers, what's up? Today I want to talk to you guys about a book that I've really fallen in love with. The author's become one of my favorite authors now. I love his writing, and all of his books just always impress me, and I love them. But this was the third book pick for the Story Seekers book club, and we read this in the month of September. And I've been wanting to get a review up about it for a while because it has been my favorite Story Seekers book club read. So, there's a ladybug. So in other words, today I'm going to be doing a review on Morpheus Road by DJ MacHale. So if you've seen my October reads video, you know that this is indeed a creepy read, and it's actually one of my favorites. I hadn't actually picked up a creepy read in a long time. In fact, this year hasn't really been that great of a reading year for me. So getting back on BookTube has definitely gotten me back in the reading spirit. And now that I finally picked up another creepy horror novel, it reminded me of why I like these kind of novels, and it just, I loved it. It made me just freak out in all the right spots. So now for a quick synopsis. So we follow this young lad, Marshall Seaver, and this kid is kind of like my best friend. Marsh doesn't want to grow up. He loves his comic books and his graphic novels, and he's just a little nerd, and I always love these characters. He likes to draw. I haven't really seen much of an artist as a character. I haven't seen any artists, which is weird. So anyways, Marsh starts drawing this creepy person that he maybe wants to write a graphic novel for, and he calls it Gravedigger, and basically Gravedigger is who you see on the front of this cover. And the story basically picks up after Marsh's friend Cooper goes missing, and after this turn of events, some weird things start happening to Marsh. He starts hearing weird things, he starts seeing weird things, and then one day he actually sees this person that he's been drawing, Gravedigger. And just a bunch of crazy things happen from there. So what I really liked about this book is that it was indeed a horror novel, but at the same time it wasn't just horror. I feel like this book is kind of delving into the realm of fantasy. It starts off as a ghost haunting a kid, but as you keep reading, you start to see some things that are bigger than what is actually going on. And you start to delve into kind of what is between the living and the dead. And Marsh has a pretty important part to play, and I am excited to read the other two books in this series because it is a trilogy. So I will definitely be picking them up soon. Also, going along with the story, I really liked how the story was paced, because it started out, kind of oh, everything's alright, then Cooper goes missing. Then we start seeing some really weird things, and just little things that kind of send a chill down your back, and nothing really too serious. But as we continue to move along the story, it starts getting more intense and more intense and more intense, and then at the end it's just this big bombshell, and feels, my friend, feels. I also liked how this reminded me of why I like these novels, and it gave me this creepy, super creepy feeling, I was seeing shadows out of the corner of my eyes, thinking I was seeing faces and hearing things, and it was just calm down. I didn't want to put this book down. I love the writing, I love the pacing, just everything was perfect for me. The one thing that I will say is about the ending. The ending, so much happened that it was kind of a little hard to keep track of and a little confusing, but that was one of the only cons that I had with this book. Everything else is perfect. Now let's talk a bit about the characters. First off, like I said, Marsh is just such a cute character. I loved reading about him. He's kind of in that stage where he doesn't want to grow up. He's a little nerd, and he still enjoys reading graphic novels and comic books, and I still enjoy reading comic books and graphic novels. So I liked his character because I could relate a lot to him in that sense. And Marsh is also heroic, and I feel like he does a lot of heroic things and does a lot of things for the right reasons, but at the same time, he's not this super tough character that's gonna go after all the creepy things. That's not who he is, which I thought was kind of refreshing to not see a truly huzzah kind of character, I guess. I also like to see Marsh struggle with his sanity. It was kind of funny at some points because he's rationalizing every little thing and is okay, this isn't real, this can't be happening, and he thinks he's going insane, and sometimes he starts to convince you that he's seeing things, and you start to wonder if he's a reliable narrator. So I really like that about the writing and about Marsh's character. Let's also talk about Sydney, who is Cooper's older sister. She's kind of like your typical popular girl, besides the fact that she's really smart and not dumb. And at first, you really don't like Sydney. She's kind of rude and snooty, and sometimes you just want to smack her and be like, just help poor little Marsh. He obviously is not trying to pull your chain. He's telling the truth. And of course, you know, the things that Mark is seeing is kind of crazy, so you don't really blame her that much, but still. But overall, Sydney's a really complicated character, and I liked her development because as we went along, we realized sort of the pressure that she's under and a lot of other things about her character and more about her relationship with her brother. Now let's also talk about Cooper, because Cooper was basically missing for the entirety of the series, but he was also there in more ways than one. If you read the book, you kind of know one way that he's there, but he's also there in a lot of Marsh's flashbacks, and I like seeing him through these flashbacks. Usually, I don't like flashbacks in books because they slow down the plot, but in this, I really liked it, and it was good for the characterization of both Marsh and Cooper. I felt like Cooper was my best friend, and I liked his character a lot because he's kind of this cocky character who gets all the ladies, but he also has a soft spot for Marsh and, you know, pushes him to the limit. And I think it's kind of nice to have that sort of friend in your life who really wants to push you, not because they want to like pull your chain and be mean about it, but just because they want you to experience life how they experience it and push you out of your comfort zone so you know what you're capable of and just overall make you happier. And I liked how every once in a while Marsh would kind of like say things that Cooper would say or think things that he would say in this situation because it really showed how much of their friendship that they had. Like, you're in Trouble Town now. I love Trouble Town. Something about that just made me really happy. It just really showed their friendship, and I think that was really sweet. Now let's talk about Gravedigger. And holy crap, this thing was creepy as heck. I could use a stronger word, but I'm not going to. I liked how he was kind of unpredictable. Like, you never knew when he was going to pop out, and you never knew if Marsh was just like overthinking things and thinking that he was showing up, or if Gravedigger was actually there. You never knew when he was going to show up, and every time he did show up, you knew some bad shiz was going to go down. Now, I want to get into a tiny bit of discussion because I want to talk about this ending. So don't watch this if you haven't read the book. But can we just talk about that ending and how I didn't see it coming and how I cried? I did not see that Cooper died. I was just like, as I was getting towards like the very end, I was like, oh my gosh, Cooper's dead. And Marsh was kind of still in denial, but then at the end he finally realized, yeah, Cooper's dead. They found his body. And I was just not prepared and cried, and oh, it was so bad. It was really sad that was how it ended. But at the same time, it was really sweet how Cooper was kind of like there and helping him along like as a ghost, and when he came to talk to Marsh at the end, I was like, oh, so much feels, and there was tears everywhere at the end of this book. Also about the ending, it looks like we'll be hearing from Cooper in the next book, which I am super excited to hear about. Just because I really would like to see, you know, Cooper's perspective, because I really enjoyed hearing about his character. I would like to see how he tells the story because I think it would be really interesting. So I can't wait to hear from Cooper, and I can't wait to dive into the rest of the series, really. Also, I love the little shout-outs to the Pendragon series, how it was set in the same town, how Mark worked at the same place that Marsh was. I thought that was super cute. So overall, I really enjoyed this book, guys, and tell me if you've read it, if you want to read it. What were your thoughts about it? Tell me below. Tell me if you're going to read the rest of the series, because I will totally be reading the rest of the series and hopefully doing reviews on it. And just look up this book on YouTube and you'll find a video of D.G. MacHale saying one of the scenes in this book was based off a real ghost experience with him, and I just thought that was super crazy and awesome at the same time. But yeah, just tell me your thoughts, and as always, guys, have a great day, read a great book, and I'll see you all later. Bye! R.I.P. Cooper.